So let's just start at the beginning. What is a livestock guardian dog? So often a livestock guardian dog is called an LGD for obvious reasons, and their sole purpose and job is to protect your livestock. They are not pets. They are not your farm dog like your collies. They are with your herd 24/7 as their protection mechanism. Livestock guardian dogs are used to protect against natural predators. Things such as cougars, that's a big one for us, bears, another big one for us, coyotes, neighboring dogs, honestly, are one of the biggest threats and actually the biggest killer to dairy goats. And even some livestock guardian dogs will protect against things like hawks. Not all breeds as much, but they can often alert to things like birds. Now, livestock guardian dogs are specific breeds of dogs who are wired differently, think differently, and act differently than our domesticated dogs who live in our house as pets, and also our farm dogs, such as maybe our heelers or our collies, whose jobs are to maybe move and herd animals and livestock. But those are a very different mentality than your livestock guardian dog. Now, there are some specific livestock guardian dog breeds that are very common. You've probably heard of a Great Pyrenees. They're the big white fluffy dogs who are super duper friendly. There are also breeds like Anatolians, Gampers, Commodores, Pyrenean Mastiffs, Maremma, Akbash, and those are just some of the more common livestock guardian breeds. Now, what is not a livestock guardian dog? Crossing a Labrador with a Great Pyrenees is not a livestock guardian dog. That's going to be a very, very friendly pet. It is also not a livestock guardian dog when you cross something like a heeler with your Maremma. Again, now we've created a totally different mentality, a different type of dog than a livestock guardian dog. Livestock guardian dogs are very specific breeds who've been doing this for generations, and they do not think and act like our regular house dogs. Typically, they act a lot more independently. They're independent thinkers, and they don't seek your approval the way your pet dog does. This is really important because your livestock guardian dog has to make decisions by themselves about what they need to be doing to best protect your animals. So let's talk about how livestock guardian dogs work. So in here is Sammy, and he is actually our youngest livestock guardian dog currently in training, and now he's gone and laid down. But a livestock guardian dog is born in the barn and raised with livestock from day one. They have never lived in a house, they have never been on a couch, and they have worked under the tutelage of a senior dog who has showed them the ropes, usually initially in the form of their parents. What happens over time, not immediately, not on day one, not on day two, is your livestock guardian dog will bond with your herd. Once they have bonded with your animals, they will feel that that herd is their own. And once that herd is their own, they will protect them against both predators and against sometimes people who they perceive as a threat. They may also perceive your house dogs as a threat. But once they have bonded with their animals, those are their animals, and they see that they are theirs to protect. You will see sometimes, like when we actually take one of our bucks out of our buck pen for breeding, our LGDs will go crazy and say, "Bring my buck back, that's my goat, I need to take care of him." And we know that that means that that dog is doing a really good job. Now, when a livestock guardian dog perceives a threat, they will bark and alert for two reasons. One is to tell you, the owner, that there's something going on and you need to pay attention. The second is to tell the threat, whatever predator it may be, to back off, to not stop here, head on down the road, because this isn't going to be an easy meal. Now, guard dogs do not actually want to fight. They do not want to come head to head with a predator. However, all they are really trying to do is say, "Hey, predator man, this isn't an easy meal. There's probably one easier to get down the road, so head on out." That's all a livestock guardian dog typically can do. I have heard of some protecting against or coming head to head with mountain lions, but those occasions don't happen very often, and really the goal is for your dog to prevent any interaction from actually happening in the first place. If you drive by our farm any given day on a sunny afternoon, you will see that our livestock guardian dogs are out cold, and that's absolutely fine. Typically, daytime is the off hours for a livestock guardian dog. Livestock guardian dogs really do their job after the sun goes down. Predators are typically out at night, also at dawn and at dusk, and that is when our livestock guardian dogs come alive. What does this mean? This means they're going to bark at night frequently, and that is a very good dog. That dog is doing its job. Unfortunately, that means if you are in a neighborhood setting or you are on a small farm with lots of farms around you, livestock guardian dogs could be a problem if you have neighbors who are going to complain. We are fortunate here to have 72 acres and basically be our own neighbor, but even our neighbors a couple miles down the road can hear our dogs at night, especially if there really is some predator activity going on. Thankfully, so far, we haven't had any troubles with our neighbors, but it is something to realize that livestock guardian breeds work at night, and it's really important for them to do that. So if you're considering livestock guardian dogs, you've also probably heard that they will wander off. That is more true for some breeds than others. However, you can not necessarily prevent this, but you can limit this by having your dog only work in the range you want them to protect. When you take your dog different places on your property, that immediately in their brain becomes part of their range. This is now more area that they have to protect. So if you've taken them outside your fenced area where your goats are, guess what? Now they're going to want to hop that fence to go do the rest of their range and make sure to be guarding. So for us, we only have our dogs inside our pens with our goats. The only times our dogs come out of these pens is if we have to load them up and take them to the veterinarian. And even that can be challenging. It is better to have a veterinarian who does farm calls actually come and treat your dogs, ideally. We don't necessarily have that opportunity, but it definitely works better for us. So now I want to cover some of the myths about working with livestock guardian dogs. Myth number 1, hear it all the time. Oh, if I just throw a livestock guardian dog in with my herd, they're totally protected, right? I'm not going to have any predator problems at all. Nope, I wish it was really that simple. A lot of it is going to come down to what kind of predator threats you have, how large your area is, are your goats in an enclosed barn at night or not. We have lost a few goats now to predators, even though we have livestock guardian dogs on duty 24/7. So no, having one livestock guardian dog does not automatically mean that your herd is now protected. Oh, here's another myth. Oh, I got this puppy. I can just put him in with my herd and then they'll be protected, right? Nope. Livestock guardian dog puppies are exactly like house puppies in the sense that they are going to need a lot of correction and they are going to get themselves into a lot of trouble. They get bored, they need to chew on things, and they like to dig holes, and all the things that any regular puppy would want to do. So a livestock guardian dog is not considered mature until 18 months old. We typically work a junior dog with a senior dog until at least that age. At that point, I can consider him a well-trained and mature dog. But 18 months is an awfully long time to wait to have predator protection. Myth number 3. You can just run your LGD in with your flock of chickens and your goats, right? No problem? Maybe. The vast majority of livestock guardian dogs will kill chickens and ducks until a certain age, or with a ton of correction, you can get them not to. However, you just really need to be prepared for the fact that your poultry probably needs to be separate from your livestock guardian dog. Myth number 4, livestock guardian dogs are completely trustworthy. I wish that this was true. However, not all livestock guardian dogs are going to work out. We have had a livestock guardian dog attack an adult female. We have had a livestock guardian dog kill kids. We have had them that, like to jump the fence and run off. So no, it is not guaranteed that a livestock guardian dog is completely trustworthy. They will need to prove their safety and their effectiveness to you over time. There really truly is a washout rate with livestock guardian dogs. It is not a one-fix-all solution. Myth number 5, it's okay to have your livestock guardian dog in the house sometimes, right? I mean, just for a little while. The answer is absolutely not. Livestock guardian dogs should absolutely never be in the house. They should never be on the couch. They should never be in sometimes. You can very easily break your livestock guardian dog if you start treating them like a pet. If you are considering buying, adopting, whatever, a livestock guardian dog, and the pictures are of a dog laying on a couch in the house, that is no longer a livestock guardian dog. Move on, that's not going to be a good choice. Myth number 6, don't livestock guardian dogs need to have their fur trimmed? They have that big fluffy hair. No, that hair actually acts as a temperature regulating system for your livestock guardian dog. We do have to brush ours, and they definitely do get mats, but they absolutely should keep their coat all summer long. We get up to 110 degrees here, and we do not cut the hair on our dogs. All right, this myth, we see this online all the time, especially in the winter. If you're cold, they're cold. That is not true at all for our livestock guardian dogs. We always have shelter for our dogs if they choose it, but I can tell you mine are just as happy sleeping in the rain and even sleeping in the snow. Like I say, they can get under protection whenever they want, but they really don't care about the weather, and their coat really protects them from it. And our last myth, one dog will be enough to protect my whole farm, right? Nope, that definitely isn't true unless you have a very, very small farm, maybe an acre with one small barn. Then I would say one dog would be fine. We actually run a pair of dogs in our milking doe herd, a pair of dogs in our buck herd, and another dog running with our keeper junior kids that are weaned from their dams. Livestock guardian dogs are obviously going to be a very expensive choice, and as mentioned, not all are going to work out. It has taken us a long time to figure out our best working pairs, and we also have to always be working on our next generation of dogs because they are bigger dogs. They're not going to live as long or be effective as long, and with an 18-month uptick time before a dog is trained, we are always having to think about our next LGD and rotating them out. So at the end, LGDs might absolutely be the right fit for your farm. For us, we could not be out here in the Siskiyou National Forest without them. However, given where you are, or maybe natural predator protection you already have, such as living closer into the city, having a totally tightly enclosed barn, they may not be a good fit for you or may not be necessary. And there is a lot to consider and also to try. You might try a dog and he might work out beautifully. The very first one you get, you may strike gold. But you also may have to go through 2, even 3 dogs before you find the one that's a good fit for your farm. Our personal preference has been to use crossbred LGDs, meaning that they are mixes of Maremma and Akbash, Anatolian and Akbash, all LGD breeds. But we have actually found selecting for temperament to be our most important factor in finding a dog that fits for our farm. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I suspect you're going to have a lot of other questions. Please feel free to post those in the comments, and I'm happy to answer as best I can. Thank you to our Patreons who make these tutorials possible, and also they get the special perk of getting to listen to my deep dive conversations, my Patreon only content. Thanks for watching.